Open your mouth. Spread your legs. Clear. Let's go.
What up, what up? You already know it's your boy Pistol Pete. Welcome back to Dog in the Yard. Today we got Darnell in the building. Darnell did 19 years and a half for a crime he didn't commit at the age of 21. He's been home 5 years now. Today, he's a motivated speaker, because his affiliation and down with gangs and all that led to his incarceration. So today he's on a different path. And with all that being said, let's get right to it. You already know it's your boy Pistol Pete, Dog in the Yard. What up, what up? You already know it's your boy Pistol Pete. Welcome back to Dog in the Yard. And today we got Darnell in the building from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, Bushwick.
What's good? Bushwick in the building. What's up, man? Shout out to Brooklyn. What's up, brother? How you been?
I'm good, man. Good
Peace,
to meet
brother.
you. Yes.
What's going on, man? How's everything going?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good, man. I'm blessed, man.
How long you been home?
Going on 6 years in September.
Good.
Yep.
All right. So tell us a little bit of your background, a little bit, your upbringing. Those that don't know Darnell.
Like I said, my name is Darnell Tomlin. I'm known in Brooklyn in the state as Peter Rab. But everybody call me Rab and stuff. So, I grew up like any other kid. I grew up with both parents in the household early on. I had my mother, she was like, the spiritual guidance, the disciplinarian. My father was the athlete, the man in the house. So, I kind of had, like I said, I was blessed until I didn't know, until they broke up, probably at the age of 12. And then, I started a lot of idle time, you know what I mean? So I started, hanging out in my neighborhood after school programs and seeing, people that I normally didn't see in my past, pathways and stuff, because I didn't have idle time. But like I said, I started seeing the guys and stuff, the chains on, the jewelry, the girls attracted them. So, I thought I was handsome or a pretty boy or whatever. So I wanted the girls, but the girls liked the bad boys. Mm-hmm. So that led me to a bad road.
Okay. Yeah, once your parents broke up, you started being outside a little bit more.
Right. Started, hanging out. Like I said, I started getting a lot of detention time because I was acting up, figuring that would be a way to pull them back in. Because, like I said, I was probably the happiest person going to detention. I said, Dad, maybe it's my fault. Maybe I wasn't spiritual enough. On my mother's side, maybe I wasn't as good as an athlete on my father. As a child, we tend to blame myself sometimes for our parents,
right.
Miscues or whatever. So I said, if I act up in school, they got to come back together and see what they doing is not working, and then we can get back together as a unit. But I just accumulated more detention time, and like I said, I'm going to school with a lot of real bad kids now, and we started hanging out.
Yeah, you started making friends with all the bad people, all the kids that's getting in trouble and all that.
Yeah.
That's how it usually is anyway. You out there, you out there from the hood and all that. So It's nothing else out there but just, guys hanging out, trying to figure out what to get into, especially at a young age.
Right.
What age was this?
So this is about 12, 13. So it's like my last year in junior high school, going into high school. So when I really started being outside and really looking at my surroundings, and like I said, that's why I said I didn't know how blessed I was until I went out, started going to my other friend's house, single parents, no father. I thought everybody lived like me, the Cosby Show, the Huxtables, had a mother, father. I didn't know until, like I said, I started hanging out with, the unfortunate guys that didn't.
Right, then you started seeing that. I got you. When did you actually start getting in trouble? Jail, police.
I was had to be about 15, 16. Started, selling drugs. Started stealing and taking stuff to the corner stores and selling it to them. So I've been locked up for loitering, hopping the train, disorderly conduct, possession.
So you was just out of control.
Right. I was just going through the system and coming back. You know what I mean? So
you have siblings?
Yes, I have 5 sisters and 1 brother. Me and my youngest sister, we kind of grew up in the household, mainly me and her for years, and my older brother, but mainly me and my sister for years.
Okay. And what was your mom's? What was she trying to do? Like when you was out here just at 16?
Well,
You know.
she didn't really know. So, she probably knew but didn't know because she's busy, got to work, you know what I mean, do more hours of her job, deal with 2 kids and everything. So,
I got
when I'm
you.
in the house, you know what I mean, I'm right. But when I get outside now, you know what I mean, I'm transforming. I'm turning into this person, this image that I created.
I got you. So at 16, 17, you got yourself
Right.
in a jam.
Yep. So like I said, it was just a rite of passage of going through the system, the island, and coming back, 3 months.
Oh, so at 16, first time going to the island.
Right, like 16,
For
17. For drug possession. I got caught. We went to a party. One of my friends was beefing with the officer. I forgot I had something on me. I started, you ain't doing nothing to him. And then they take us both in. Went to the system. I said, oh, shit, I forgot I had, drugs in my pocket.
And they locked you up. So you wanted to go to Rikers Island.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
That
first
it was always
experience.
scary. Yeah, as a kid, you really don't know. Like I said, I knew I really wasn't in no major danger. I had a couple of, capsules or whatever, so I knew I wasn't really in no major danger. Told them I used the drugs. You get the drug program instead of my actual jail time or whatever. So I copped out to probation and an outpatient program. You just got to go do some community service or a drug class or something for a couple of hours. So I ended up doing that, and that was it. So, and then, like I said, I didn't get locked back up until my unfortunate time when I did 19 and a half years for like I said, for the crime I didn't commit.
So you out there in the street, you got caught, you went to Rikers Island at 16, stayed on the island for how long?
A couple of months. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, just until one cup court date. You know what I mean?
Okay, one court date.
Right, one court date.
I got you. Were you scared?
Yeah, first, yeah, you're going into an unknown. You're just hearing the stories about, especially the island, the adolescent. You want to be you hear all the stories. You don't want to be a day room guy and this, that, and the third. So definitely going into an unknown environment, I definitely was. But like I said, I can let them know that.
Of course. It was something normal, man. If you come up prepared and tell me, I wasn't scared or nothing, then you freaking like a motherfucker. Because you're always going to be afraid of something that you don't know what to expect.
Right.
Especially when it come down to jail.
Right.
So, so you came home and then you got caught for what?
Then
what they accused you of? Let's just say that.
Murder in the second, depraved indifference murder. So they don't have this statute no more because of ramification. But it was supposed to have been a lesser included charge. I was charged with intentional murder, and then the charge under that was depraved indifference. But it's just the mindset. They say I was acting in concert with others. So they said me and 3 other people were shooting at this guy from the top of the stairs at this house party that we usually frequent around my way in Bushwick.
Okay. And they arrested you and just you by yourself?
Yeah. So like I said, at this time after I came home and established myself and I started getting into other guys that was locked up. They came home. They was gang affiliated. So these are a lot of my friends and stuff. So they was trying to recruit me. We hanging out, we doing everything already. So now, like I said, to add to our recognition, our representation, we added a popular name to it and brand to it at the time, which was Blood. You know what I mean? So we end up turning gang affiliated, and then what comes with that. Like
so y'all was all. This was what's going on.
Right at this time. This is 9/7, 9/8 around this time. So it's like the second wave. That's why I said I'm probably second generation of Blood. So this was like 9/8 when I turned Blood and started hanging out and doing a lot of mischief. So
yeah, you running around the street, you're not listening to your moms.
Right. So
you fucking up in school.
I said, right, I'm not even going.
You're not even going. Yeah, it's over.
It's over. Right, I'm outside now. No, for real. So the girls just liking me. I'm be getting money. Got the change on. Everybody that I said I saw at the beginning, I'm starting to gradually turn into that person I used to see in the corner. You know what I mean? I got girls just liking me. I got money in my pocket.
Yeah. This time you what, like 18, 19?
18, about 19. Yeah, 18, 19 at this time.
And then one day, what, you was just, one day you was outside and it came?
So 2 years later, in 2000, like I said, we usually go to this party called the Chicken Coop. It's like
The who?
It was called the chicken coop.
The chicken coop?
The chicken coop. We called it the chicken coop around our way and stuff. You know what I mean? We say,
That's my next name to my bike's party. Chicken coop.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? Say, remember back in the day we used to call girls chicken heads and stuff.
Yeah,
so
chicken coop.
Yo, you know, we
That
going
is
to the chicken
fucking
coop,
funny
you know
as
what I mean?
hell, yeah.
So there
I
was
like
a place,
that.
Yeah, so it was a place that we used to just go to and frequent, but it started getting popular. People really started coming, you know what I mean? But so we was there every weekend. So this particular weekend, I didn't go. I was with my girl at the time. We was kind of beefing, and so and a lot of guys that I really hung out with, a lot of my friends at my that's related to my girlfriend, they not gang affiliated. So I was like, yo, y'all want to go to cool? Like, nah, cause they knew the atmosphere. They didn't want to be around there. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna go either. I'm gonna stay with y'all. We're gonna play video games, smoke, and chill, whatever, and that's it. The next morning, I hear somebody got killed that day. So everybody's like, yo, glad we didn't go, this, that, and the third. They're like, yes. You know what I mean? Like,
was
thank
yeah.
God. You know, obviously I heard about it because it's around my way. So 2 or 3 days later, I hear they walking around looking for me, a picture of me. Like I said, they call me Peter Rap. So they got a picture, my picture with the name Petey on it, wanted for murder. So at this time too, I'm working for Bell Atlantic, you know, which is Verizon now. I used to work for the phone company. So like I said, I was going to work by day, and when I get off work, I'm outside. So I have one of them kind of jobs and stuff. Like I said, I was always straddling the fence. I was a good kid, but just wanted to do bad things.
Right.
So like I said, once I hear about I'm going to work, my routine is still the same. So it wasn't until my cousin came and like ran down and he looked panicked. It's like, yo, Rab, yo, police pulled me over. They looking for you. Just like the third person that told me. So I'm like, yo, are they serious? So I calls the precinct and I'm like, yo, this is Darnell at my job, downtown Brooklyn. I was like, yo, this is Darnell Tomlin. I heard y'all looking for me, this, that, and the third, anything. So yeah, we all, can you come in for questioning, this, that, and the third, you know, based on this, that, and the third. So this is Tuesday. So I said, yeah, I'm doing training right now. I'll be free Friday. They said, Friday afternoon, no problem. Wednesday go by, I go to work, come home, everything good. Thursday, I go to work, come home, everything good. Friday, when I'm supposed to get off to go get them, I get off, I'm going to get on the train, squad cars come to downtown Brooklyn, lock me up, doesn't really say nothing, give me one arm, give me the other hand, escort me to the precinct. That was the last time that I saw New York City.
Wow. They just ran down on you.
So now, once they get me in a precinct, once they get me in a precinct, this is where I find out what actually happened. So they tell me, yeah, this girl got her butt squeezed in the party. She's arguing with the dude. You don't effing know me. I got somebody for you. So you know what a normal dude reaction. Who your man? Yeah, go get him. Tell him my son. So a girl reaction, she gonna go, babe, I was walking and this dude grabbed my arm and I told him I was gonna get you and he said X, Y, and Z.
Right.
So words were exchanged and then after that gunfire was exchanged. The police told me she came and got me and 3 other friends. They was arguing in the party, and that's when the guy got killed. So I'm like, once I find out who it was over and what happened, I'm on Brooklyn House at the time. I had my people's call like, yo, find out that girl and let her know that they locked me up for that crime and that I ain't had nothing to do with it. I had an investigator called Michael Race at this time. You probably heard of him. He really didn't do a good job. He ended up getting in touch with her, and so she says, Brad wasn't there. He doesn't party like that. But it wasn't a written testimony. He interviewed her over the phone. So now we get the trial. I'm on the island like this. Now I'm laid up. I got the whole incident who the girl happened to, saying I wasn't there. So I'm ready to go trial. Go to trial within a year. Come in. The first 2 witnesses come in. They said, the judges. And I was like, who is that? They said that's Peter Rab. That's Petey. They call me Petey. Said that's Petey. So my lawyer said, who do you know? Peter Rab. I said, yeah, that's Petey, aka Peter Rab. So my lawyer said, hold on, Petey and Peter Rab is the same person? They said, yeah, that's what they call him. So one witness said he saw me and 3 other dudes shooting at his friend from the top of the stairs. The other dude said he just saw me at the party. He didn't see me shooting. So I'm like, okay, I'm still not nervous. The next day, the girl comes in. She's hysterical. She's coming walking like this. She can understand. Only reason I made that statement, I was scared. He sent somebody saying I sent somebody to talk to her to say like the police gonna come talk to you. You need to say X, Y, and Z. So she changed her testimony. She said that I was at the party, but she said she didn't see me doing it. She changed her whole testimony. Remember, the first 2 witnesses said that she was arguing with their friend and she told them, "You don't effing know me. All right, I got somebody for you." Her testimony was, as she was walking to the party, go to the bar, a guy grabbed her. They started arguing. She just left. She said, "I grabbed my girlfriend. I was going to the store to get a Dutch or something because he blew my high, and that's when I heard the shots and I ran home. I thought he was shooting at me." So that was her testimony to ease her out of getting conspiracy to murder, because they said they could have locked her up.
Yeah, because she was the one that provoked the shit.
Right. So she got nervous going through a custody battle with her child's father at the time. So they was like, "Yeah, we're going to take away your child." So at the end of the day, she felt like she was saving herself. Even by lying on me, she felt like, she was doing her family a service. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, my life got, you know what I mean, and the life of the deceased.
Yeah, shit crazy. So they just came and gripped you up, and
Right,
that
so-
was it.
Right. So,
And then what happened? What changed throughout the 19 years? I mean, you went obviously back to Rikers Island.
right. So now
You went
I'm
to
going
trial.
back.
You blew trial.
So now I'm going back to Rikers Island. It's different, a little older now. Now I'm going as an adult. Remember, I went as a child. So now I'm going as an adult, and now I'm going gang affiliated. Remember, when I was turned blood on the street, it was around, family and friends, guys I really grew up with and really knew.
Right.
Now I got an obligation to guys I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now it's a different set of rules. I went there, they G checking you. You better know your oath. You better know your codes. There was a lot of stuff that I didn't know. And like I said, this was at the heat and the height of police is getting at them, Latin Kings and Spanish brothers. There's a lot of tension in these environments at this time. And like I said, I'm a young kid, got a target on my back because like I said, I'm young, I'm gang affiliated. I don't really know, but I got this obligation to these guys. Mind you, I'm fighting a case that I'm locked up for a crime I ain't commit. And I'm also got an obligation to guys that I really don't know.
A lot of shit going on.
A lot of stuff going on. So,
At a young age. Like a lot of young brothers right now.
right.
A lot of young brothers, just like you. They're in the island right now, 2 bodies, 1 body. A lot of shit going on. They fighting the body, plus they down with gangs. They trying to figure it out. They, they're living on rules and regulations and all kind of shit. So, so you back now. You on the island. Now you like you said, you gang affiliated, dealing with your case and all that.
Right.
How long you was on the island for?
A year, like 1 year. Speedy trial. Like I said, once I found out the girl had thought she was on my side and did a testimony, I put in for a speedy trial. Wasn't nothing else to talk about. Like, you know what I mean? I'm
You was ready to go.
I'm ready. Right.
I mean, you didn't do it, so you
Right.
ready to go.
I'm ready to go. So like,
So now you went to trial. You blew trial.
Blue trial.
And when you went out from there, downstate.
Downstate, and then from downstate.
How was downstate?
Downstate was like a different atmosphere. You come in there and
How was that experience?
You hear all the stories, man. Like I said, I'll tell you about it. I went to jail as Darnell. But when you go up north, I became a number. Everybody remember they did number 018-2298. You're branded now. They strip you of your dignity, your pride, and they wash you down and they brand you. You know what I mean? Now I'm a product of the state. You know what I mean? So that was different. A lot of white officers.
Shit crazy.
And,
Is that right?
you know what I mean? Coming from black officers, they really don't like you because of your skin color and everything. So dealing with that and the structure that they had. So that was scary. Then from there, I went to 5 Points. They had just opened up. They was one of these new.
What's that? 5 Point? New York State?
Yeah, that's Romulus, New York. At first it was supposed to have been a box, but they ended up turning into population. So at this time they were just sending anybody. I think it opened up in 2000. I went up north in 2001. So at this time they was just throwing anybody. So it was medium guys in there. You came out the box, you was in there. You had max time, you was in there, and it was a whole double bunk facility as well. So that
was new.
Yeah, that was another transition. You know what I mean? Going from a cell or a dorm to having to sleep with somebody now.
Yeah. How was that?
So that was a transition itself.
I mean, now you got. What was your sentence?
I got sentenced. Good question. I got sentenced to 20 years to life.
20 years of life.
At the age of 22. So I 20
So
years
you
of life.
like, damn, you sitting there like, I got 20 years.
That ride up north was the longest ride in my life. Like, I'm saying, like I'm really locked up for a crime I commit. So I had a lot of hatred, a lot of tension about sight. So you know what? Like I said, I'm gang for. I'm like, no, but I want to come up north now and do something. I don't care if I get caught, because now it's kind of like a vindication of, you know what I mean, who I now I got to become that person I created. Now I really got to be this gangster killer blood. You know what I
Right.
mean? 'Cause like I said,
got you.
I'm scared. I don't want, like I said, you gotta become prey, or you know what I mean. You're gonna be preyed on. That's what I always thought. So I always had to walk and stick my chest out and be that guy. You know what I mean? So that's what it was at first. Like I said, I was, you know what I mean, taking plates, which is, you know what I mean, contracts, or somebody was fooled, you know what I mean? For the people that don't know, like, dealing with gangs, you might have somebody that's can't be in the same jail as you. So you got to get rid of them. You got to cut them or stab them or whatever
Yeah,
to
so
get rid of them.
you had to go right into to everything that was going on.
Right.
So from downstate, where you ended up at?
I went from downstate to 5 Points, stayed there for 2 years, ended up getting my GED. Remember, I got locked up. I had no high school diploma, no GED, no nothing. I went to 5 Points, got my GED, and then from there, went to Auburn for a couple of months. And then from there, I went to Green Haven. So that's where I did most of my time between Green Haven and Sing Sing. So got to Green Haven like about 2005. 2003, I'm sorry, till 2005.
Okay. Well, at least you ended up back in the jail that it's a little bit more calm.
Right. Well,
in regards to like to get what you want to get,
Mm-hmm.
out of the best you could get out of being in jail.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Not
right.
like going to Clinton or
Right. I'm not
Attica or Comstock and shit be more complicated and more. You know what I'm saying? It's more. It's more complicated. A lot of shit happening in the other jails.
Yes,
Not that shit don't go on where you was at.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm quite sure you
Yeah.
seen things, that you probably can't forget about
Right. No question.
and shit like that. But in the mother jails, it's like more for the fuck ups.
Yeah. Right. So like I said, because you remember, you can't come down unless you been good. Remember, it's a privilege
That's what
to
I'm
come
saying.
be
That's what I'm
close to
saying.
the city.
To be close, to be right there in Gray is close.
Right.
So you did your whole time there.
Green Havens, Sing Sing, yeah, I did probably 9.5 19 and a half years. I probably did more than 10 years between them two jails alone. Then my last 2 years at Otisville.
So how was your day to day, and what was your mindset?
Well, in Green Haven, I was
Like
still
the transition. We want to know the transition
Right.
when you decided I got to get the fuck out of jail.
So this was, I always fighting my case. I never thought I was actually going to do 19 and a half years. I remember, we're supposed to have been 20, but I got 6 years credit. Good time, because when I finally got to Sing Sing, but just to answer your question, I did 2 years in Green Haven. Then I went to Sing Sing, still gang affiliated. A lot of my fellas I was with, 'cause I still always had the same demeanor. I never was like pressure. Remember when I turned blood, they was telling me the history of it, how it's supposed to be. Brotherly love overrides oppression and destruction.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We were supposed to protect our community. So that's was my attraction to it at the time as well. I knew the history and the origin of it. So, and now a lot of brothers that I was with, it's like, yo, why are you messing with them guys? Like, what you doing? Like, you know what I mean? This, that, and third. So, like, that's the people that I really didn't have no answer for them. So it wasn't until, so you know what? Like 7 years in, I kind of, what I said, stopped messing with the gang. Started messing with a lot of Brooklyn guys, and I noticed a lot of them going to school and going to the school building. So the yard is equivalent to the street up north. You know what I mean? Anything you can find in the street in New York City, you can find in the yard in the penitentiary. So that's where I was comfortable at, in the yard. So like I said, once I saw a lot of brothers that I looked at and respected, saw them going to the school building, saw them going to school, I was like, oh, it is cool to go in there. So I end up thanks to the Hudson Link program, Mercy College, I ended up going to college and obtaining my associate's degree. Ended up going to honor block. What I did too that kept me
You got focus.
right. I kept focused, and when I
Left the yard alone.
right, it was times where they
Did
called
that bring
y'all.
any issues? I know that had to bring kind of tension issues.
It did, because like I said, I was respected. I was gang affiliated for a while, and like I said, a lot of them looked up to me because I kept it real. I could have, like I said, I knew what happened, so a lot of them say, I could have told what happened, but I wasn't there. And like I said, even though I knew what happened, in my mind, I couldn't put myself to put nobody else in the position that I was in. I was like, yo, I wasn't there. I ain't had nothing to do with that. I'm not doing y'all job
Yeah, he's
for
not
you.
doing all that. Yeah,
I'm not doing that. So the police.
you have
told
to
me.
handle it. You was handling it.
Right, so I got a lot of respect from my peers and officers that knew my stuff. Because I wasn't in there acting like, I'm this murderer, this, that. I never promoted that. I maintained my innocence.
You was being you.
I maintained my innocence since day one.
I want to my question to you is how the transition from you being a gang member and when you decided you didn't want to gang bang no more, like how that worked out, like how you managed to get
right,
overcome that, because some sometimes that
No question.
you know, people get stabbed up,
No
you know,
question.
you get shot, you know, you all kind of shit
question. You
start
gotta,
happening.
and they when you want to, they tend to like throw you on a dummy mission. All right, you don't want to put here. That's your next play. You got to put this deal and you got to put this work in. Cause now they don't care about you. If somebody that they got beef with goes and you go too. If you get caught, they kill two birds with one stone. So usually you're right. That was the case. But like I said, I was well respected, and fortunately, one of my superiors, one of my big homies, was there at the spot at the time and told him, you know, what I'm trying to do, trying to get more focus on, you know, this lower library, fighting my case, getting in the school program, and you know, he gave me that leeway. He said, yo, it's all right with me. That's what you want to do. So I left out and with no harm, no foul. You know what I mean? Like I said, respected like a soldier. You know, 'cause I buried my bone.
And it was all good. You was able to accomplish your mission.
Yeah, I had to look over my shoulder. You know what I mean? Still got love from the guys.
Yeah, of course.
Day,
That was cool. So it worked out for you.
Yeah.
Usually they don't work out like that all the time,
right.
though.
And
That's what I'm saying.
right,
For the viewers and for the people out there that think that just don't go down like that all the time. Sometimes you got to get your head cracked on the mission. You know, it just don't go well.
Because you
what
know
I'm
too
saying?
much. It's like, you know what I mean?
You know too much. So it's like, you know, it's just not right. It's just dangerous, you know? So, but I'm happy that you was able to overcome that and was able to get focused. So you start going to the law library?
Started going to law library, fighting my case, trying to find somebody to take interest in my case. I couldn't find nobody for a while because my moms didn't have money. We didn't have money to pay for lawyers and all that stuff. So like I said, AT&B lawyer, which is a lawyer that's appointed to you and stuff. And the same thing where they finally stayed up enough money and got me a appellate lawyer. She did her job, but then once that got denied, they like, oh, I can't do no more service for you unless you got more money. So I started asking these people like, Dad, how much is my life worth? You know what I mean? Like, I'm actually innocent. I'm not looking for a loophole. I knew guys that beat trial and went home that committed their crime. You saying I'm stuck here up north for a crime I didn't commit? You know what I mean? So that was, like I said, it was a blow too. But like
Was it making you better? Was it making you?
And that's one of my mottos to this day. I gotta get a shirt. I'm a better man, not a bitter man. You know what I mean? Like I said, I always accountable for my actions. Cause at one time, it wasn't until I went to the box and I said, Dad, how did I get here? And I said, like I said, they ain't just to come give me a street. My choice, that's why I go around and I tell the kids now, my choices, my affiliation, and my association led to my future incarceration. The choices that I made, if I never was gang affiliated, if I never hung out with them dudes, if I never got locked up, because that's how they got me, because they went, saw a photo array, and I seen that's what I tell kids too, what you do now can affect you 10, 15 years down the line. Even though I'm working, I'm doing everything. When I got arrested early on, they had my fingerprints. So they went and looked at a photo array, and that's how they was able to pick me out, to even have a picture of me to get locked up for this crime. So if I never got locked up when I was 15, 16, 17.
No, never had that. I got you. So now, you did your 19 years. You went to a law library?
Yeah. So during this time, too, I was also, I ended up working with the rec department, called special subjects. So I was really into sports. I was also a big basketball player. Everybody said I could have went to the league. I played with a lot of guys that's, you know, well known in the sports and basketball. You know, growing up in Brooklyn, I was just a little undersized, so I never knew how nice I was until I got locked up or whatever. So I started.
While you was busting niggas' ass up in there?
I was
just say
really
that.
nice.
That's all.
Yeah, I know. I'm always humble. Everybody that know me know I'm humble and minded. I mean, I'm argument like top 5 point guard in the state. Like, you know what I mean, to this day. But I started doing sports, and I started being a commissioner. I started running the sports programs for the whole jail, A block, B block, honor blocks. I started putting together tournaments and schedules for both sides. So they was calling me the commissioner. So like I said, I didn't even know the love I had, and like I said, always thought playing the game show your love, but putting the game together, I found a love for that. So one day an officer came up to me. He was like, "Yo, Rab, it's a game tonight?" I'm like, nah, tomorrow. He's like, "Oh man." I'm like, "Why you mad?" He said, "Nah, I got the yard tonight, and you know, usually when there's a game outside, you know, everybody's around the basketball court. He can see everybody. There's nothing going on, because just like the street, if it's idle time, that's when they trying to get drugs. They trying to do this one, but it was a basketball game going on. It's something to do. You know, they watching the game.
Got you.
So I said, Dad, let me get these guys to do something more in the yard to keep them out of trouble.
Yeah.
So that end up being my
Keep
niche.
them occupied from the bullshit.
Right. So I said, Dad, if I can do that with these brothers in here, let me come out here and do that with these kids out here before they get in there. So, like I said, after coming home, one of my brothers I was locked up with, Andre Patterson, we talked about coming home and starting, a nonprofit organization. So he ended up starting it, Freedom Elite Sports Academy, organization where we train, we mentor. We also got a mentoring team that formerly incarcerated brothers that go out to Rikers Island schools and gyms, and we'll play the kids and let them know, listen, we was once aspiring athletes like you, but one poor choice, one poor decision in our life deterred that.
So y'all go back and play with them?
Yeah, so we trying to go back. We supposed to go back last year, but hopefully this summer we trying to go to the 5 building and play in them with our organization.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
We could definitely situate something like that, cause how you call it? I be going to Rikers Island.
Yeah, we said
so
we
could definitely put some stuff together and get the team to go in there and play them and all that. Like we was trying to get that together. So this is what you do. So it could probably be easier having you involved.
Right, no, I definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's like I said. Phone
that's
away.
cool.
We got about 10 guys that's all approved and everything to go in there.
Yeah, that's good.
Let us know.
Okay, that's good. So we definitely gonna do something like that. So now you came home. What year you came home?
So I came home. As I said, going to the parole board. Let me talk about that real quick. Going to the parole board as, because when you go to the parole board, they don't know they don't care if you innocent or guilty. You go in there as a convicted murderer. They want to know what has changed from the person that committed this crime to the person that wants to be released. So now I was kind of scared. I get to a medium. I was kind of scared. I said, Dad, do I go and admit to a crime I didn't commit just to go home? Or do I, stand on my 10 toes like I've been doing and maintaining my innocence? So it wasn't until I got to Otisville and they said a guy had just went to the parole board, maintained his innocence, and he made it. So I dropped my stuff and I went to him immediately, introduced myself and told him, I'm going to this year too. Can you, let me know, what you did? So he asked me my question. I said, yeah, I've been maintaining my innocence since day one. He said, which is good. And what I've been doing, what I accomplished. And I went there. I was able to get in touch with my good brothers, mine's Prince and my brother Sean. They was in touch with Ron Kuby. You familiar with Ron Kuby? He's one of the big time lawyers. What he did was wrongful convicted cases. So he did a letter for me in support of my innocence and that he'd be working with me and this, that, and third. So when I went to the parole board, they saw my demeanor, saw my paperwork, and it fit as, an innocent man, and they was able to grant me parole. So like I said, I came home.
That shit don't really happen like that.
No,
man.
it don't. Once again, it don't.
I just wanted to touch you on that too.
Once again, it
I'm
don't.
like, shit, you threw over here breaking that shit down to me. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Parole, tough.
Right, and I said I was scared, but being unknown. But like I said,
They be wanting you to admit the shit and all that, and them is an issue because I went to jail with something I didn't do either, but I ain't do that. I just like but I you know what I mean? I ain't. I went to jail with something I didn't do it, and I when I went to parole, I was like I didn't do what you did. I was like I just handled it, whatever.
Yeah, that was I ain't gonna going to parole was kind of more. I was more nervous going to parole than I was trial, because trial I was like, okay, I was innocent. It's a chance I'm really going home.
Yeah. You're not looking at so far.
Right, but parole, I'm like, yo, these guys can hit me with a year, 2 more years. I got life parole.
Yeah, they could continue hitting 2 years. That's the favorite.
And I was also scared. There was this movie called Crown Heights, based on a true story about a guy who was also wrongly convicted and did time, but he was from the islands or whatever, so he didn't really know how to adjust to the prison system. He's always in the box, always going through stuff with officers and convicts and whatever. So they asked him, parole board, yeah, you say you didn't commit this crime, you was innocent, but it shows, over 100 infractions and box time. And And he said, yo, I couldn't.
Your disciplinary is messed up.
Right. So he got hit 2 or 3 times because he didn't want to admit to the crime he didn't commit. So when I saw that movie, I was like, oh my God, that's when I really got scared. I said, damn, do I really got to admit to a crime I didn't commit just to go home?
Yeah, it was tough. luckily that you got, God bless you with that other brother that you was able to
Right.
get in contact with him, and he could prep you for it.
Right. So like I said, I came home September 3rd, 2019, after like I said doing 19 and a half years. My family was there. It was such a beautiful day. Coming home, like I said, when I left home, I had a beeper. So I never had a cell phone, never had a flip phone. So just having a phone and the technology, I came for like I did 2 decades. I came home to a totally
At least
new
you came
world.
home. Your family was there for you.
Yes, thank God.
Thank God for that.
My
You know, a
mom's
lot of
still
brothers go to
alive.
jail. They don't have nobody.
Right, that's another thing I was scared of. My mother, my father, my siblings, everybody was still there and intact. Like I said, came home. Now I'm the executive director of Freedom Elite Sports Academy. We do a lot of stuff in the community. We have tournaments every year in the Bronx. We do one in Castle Hill for the last 2 years. The kids come out there and they play. Free food, drinks, beverages, music. We have one up north in Newburgh that we do every year, the Youth Empowerment Basketball Tournament that we do up there.
Okay, shout out to Newburgh.
All right, that's where I'm at right now. I'm living in Poughkeepsie.
Oh yeah, my son, one of my kids live in Newburgh.
Yeah, so that's right there, Newburgh, Poughkeepsie, Kingston. That's like our 5 boroughs. I mean, they all half an hour away from each other, Middletown. So I'm doing that. I'm working at a rehabilitation facility. I'm a house manager there. So I'm doing that right now. So like I said, one thing they ever asked me, what you want to do when you go? You know, you always get that question, what you going to do when you go? I said, I just want to be accounted for. I want to pay taxes. I want to get a job. I just want to be accounted for.
You want everything to count, man. You want to do things that you never thought you could do.
Right. You know.
And it's a blessing, you know.
Right.
You got kids?
Yes, I came home and I was blessed to have. I got a 4-year-old junior.
Blessing,
he'll be 5
blessings.
this year. So that's like most of my
Married?
Engaged.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah.
So you focus, man.
Yeah. I'm out
This is
here.
what we want. This is a great. See, this is the interviews that I like.
Right.
Once that you could actually break the whole story down, and young brothers and sisters out there could see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That you never lost faith in yourself. You know what I'm saying? You kept, and you stood up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Even at the toughest moments, because things could have went bad for you in jail too. You know what I'm saying? Because you was involved with gangs and stuff like that. You know, so a lot of shit happens. You know, when you're in jail, particularly. You know what I'm saying? In jail, it could be like, you could be lovely, huggy, and all that one moment. The next thing, you be fool. You be the guy they be looking for. They be the guy that be. So, you know, and you've been home 6 years and a half.
Yep, going 5 years and a half, going on 6.
It's a blessing, man. Well, I can say, man, you know, it's an honor having you.
Thank
You know what I'm saying? Definitely would like to stay in contact with you so we could situate something for Rikers Island, so we could bring the team up in there and play the brothers and all that.
Definitely, anytime.
And keep doing your thing, man.
Right, thank you.
And this is what it's about. The platform is here for you. Just know that Dog in the Yard this is your platform. This is for those brothers that never had a voice, like you. You ain't had no voice for 19 years. Now you out here. You was able to share your story. You know what I mean? For the brothers and sisters out there. You know what I'm saying? They can see that. You know, it's real.
Yeah,
it can happen. You know what I'm saying? You could be out there one day and all of a sudden you could get snatched up and you didn't know nothing about it, and you get caught up in lack of education, and you run in the streets and thinking you know everything, and you get caught up and you wind up losing your life for a long time.
Yeah, that's why I go around and I tell kids now, man.
How do you feel about prison reform?
Definitely for it. You know what I mean? It's about time. You know, it's well overdue. You know what I mean? It's still a long way going, but it's something that's, finally being looked at, because the prison system
It's finally being looked at, right?
After all
You can
these
believe that
years.
shit, right? It's finally being looked at. I feel the same way too.
Right.
Especially after the last event where they killed
Robert Brooks.
Yeah, Robert Brooks. It's right. You know what I'm saying? But that's been going on for
years.
a long time. If you saying years, imagine me that I did 17 years before you did 19 years.
Right.
So that shit been like history.
Right.
People out there, getting beat up and all that by the
Clinton
correctional
was known for
officers
that.
and all that.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, they known for that.
So I'm happy that we started look at. They started to look at it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Things that we always kept as a secret.
Right.
Because you know how many ass whippings I done got that never told my moms, never shared my story, never did do it.
And then they said they beat you up, and then you get a new charge, assault on
All the
staff.
time. In the 3 years in the box.
You heard they knuckles. They knuckles is messed up for being on you. You assaulted them with your head.
Yeah. What's one of the worst things you've seen in prison?
See somebody get airlifted out. You know, once you get stabbed and they don't have the proper time or channels to get, chopper got to come in and get you as you laying there face down on the floor, seeing the guy that you know or heard of, you know what I mean, getting airlifted out while you stand on the floor until the yard is clear.
Mm.
You know, so that was always a scary thing. Like I said, going out every day, your life is on the line.
Any last words you want to tell any brothers out there, young brothers and sisters out there?
Like I said, I just want to tell everybody just to make better choices, better decisions. Like I said, I know as a kid or girl out there, just like me, a good kid, but just mess with the wrong people and be at the wrong places at the wrong time. And like I said, you think, all right, I'm not committing a crime. If you associating yourself with people that are, you are, like I said, the RICO law now is for the minority now. It's not just for, you know, corrupted officials and old mob gangsters. They using it for us. So just keep that in mind.
And with that being said, it's your boy Pistol Pete, dog in the yard. What up, what up? You already know it's your boy Pistol Pete. Welcome back to Dog in the Yard. First and foremost, I want to thank Darnell for coming through. Appreciate having you, my brother. Keep doing your thing. Today, Darnell is doing greatness out there. He's making a change. He's a motivational speaker for the youth, for those brothers out there that was involved with gangs or are involved with gangs. And he's creating a change, and that's what it's about. And with that being said, you already know it's your boy Pistol Pete, dog in the yard.